Everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video. Finally got all my stuff, as you can see. I'm in the process of unpacking and building furniture that I've totally forgotten how to build because I've had it for 5 to 10 years. But that means that I can now get back into creating content and talking about all of the latest esports stories that are going on around the world. And man, we got given a real gift just the other day. Probably the biggest story in Counterstrike of 2020, arguably, give or take. There has been a cheating scandal, but not the kind you might think. It's not to do with hacks, it's not to do with VAC, it's not to do with match fixing or win trading or any of that stuff that we've seen prior to this in the scene. This is to do with an exploitation of a bug in the game that enabled coaches, essentially, to be able to see where people were, sort of exist in the skybox, and they were sitting on servers, these coaches that were found guilty of this, and basically communicating information and using it to get a competitive advantage. And not just in any, little tournament, actually for qualifiers for the World Championships, for the major in Rio, which, as it happens, probably isn't going to go ahead, but still might, ostensibly, and obviously the occasion should give you some idea of the severity of this particular charge. Anyway, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about it and do it as quickly as I possibly can. Let's start here. Legendary coach and former player, Lord, put out a tweet longer, which basically said that there's this bug he's discovered, essentially some bug that puts you into a spectator mode, and he posted this out on the 26th of August, generating some debate. You can see he tagged in plenty of other coaches from all the highest teams, which includes Hunden. We'll be hearing more from him in just a moment. And this, of course, is what I've always said you should do. You discover a bug, let everyone know about it. Shout it loud and proud. It will enable the developer to potentially fix it. It will enable the admins to potentially take action against people abusing it. It'll create an awareness that is so widespread. It's essentially a level playing field. If these things can't be fixed and can't be dealt with, well, everyone can just use it, and then it's fair in and of itself. It fixes the problem. Now, that time frame is relevant because here it was just the other day at the time of recording this on the 31st of August, so 5 days after Lord put his tweet out, where ESL had decided to take action against several coaches in what was a sort of just a post that came out of left field. Entitled Exploitation of Coach Spectating Bug in CSGO. You can see they put this statement out saying, recently we were made aware that by taking a combination of different steps, a bug in CSGO allows the coach of a team to become a spectator anywhere on the map, unbeknownst to anyone else. The coach would then be able to stay in that position, getting a free camera observer position on, e.g. the opposing team's spawn area for other areas of the map that will be hidden to the team otherwise, and could advise their team to react based on that knowledge. We consider this to be in violation with our rulebook, section 6.10.5, use of bugs and glitches. We have since introduced measurements that prevent this abuse, which have been in place starting with ESL 1 Cologne. After closely analysing all matches from ESL and DreamHack competitions, which took place in the past few months, and consulting with Valve in the process to solidify our findings, we have identified the following coaches to have knowingly misused the bug for a competitive advantage in live tournaments. Hard Legion's Meccano Gun, who used it at the ESL 1 Road to Rio on 6 maps in 3 matches. Heroic's Hunden, that's right, Hunden, Heroic, who just won ESL 1 Cologne. They used it at the DreamHack Masters Spring in 10 rounds on 1 map. And MIBR, because of course, dead at ESL 1 Road to Rio in 1 round on 1 map. Based on the findings and our rulebooks, the following ruling is made after consultation with ESIC, that's the Esports Integrity Coalition, which kind of presides over everybody and gives guidance about what punishments should be enacted to keep a sort of fair landscape. you can see it says, Dead will receive a 6-month ban from playing or coaching in competition. Hunden will receive a 12-month ban from playing or coaching in competition. Meccano Gun will receive a 24-month ban from playing or coaching in competition. The teams are also retroactively disqualified from the tournaments the abuses took place. The teams forfeit their ESL Pro Tour points for the tournaments in which the violations took place. And the teams forfeit their prize money from the tournaments in question. So obviously, there's been a lot of debate and a lot of speculation, which I'm not going to get into this video, where people are saying, oh, the players must have known, you know, how would it work otherwise? Weren't they even curious where the information was coming from? I'm pretty sure that if the players didn't know, which we have to assume that they didn't, they're going to be massively pissed off. Like, thanks, coach. Yeah, we won the game. I get no fucking money for it, and now I'm disqualified. So, an absolute mess. The individual teams have been contacted and informed. We've also notified other tournament organisers of this and will help them investigate the matches on their end. ESIC will be issuing separate sanctions with a statement in due course under the ESIC Player Code of Conduct. That's where it gets interesting, because this ban under ESIC's kind of the agreement you enter when you agree to be an ESIC team, ESIC could actually apply this ban to all other ESIC member teams if they were in agreement about it. So watch this space. It might not even just be an ESL ban. And it also just goes on to say, blah, 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 blah. As part of this announcement, we consider it important to note that multiple coaches, other than those mentioned in this post, have encountered the bug, but they did not abuse it in any way. And special thanks to Michael Slowinski. Who's Michael Slowinski? Well, not all heroes wear capes. One of the great things about CS is we pretty much do for self over here. People match fixing, better get a journalist or an insider to come forward and basically kind of, you know, drop a dime on everyone. Want to catch coaches cheating? Can't expect Valve or anyone to do it, or even a tournament organizer. This guy, Michael Slowinski, known as Michał9, he took it upon himself to basically go through thousands of demos to catch these people out. This was him essentially showing you what the bug does. I'll just give you a little look here. I thought it was important. So any coach that abuses the bug is in a sort of fixed elevated position. This obviously being on Mirage. You can see that they're above the bomb site. They can see where people are hiding, where they go to after post-plant situations, and obviously relay that information to their team, essentially giving them a wall hack for want of a better phraseology. But yeah, this admin took it upon himself to go through 1,500 demos, and he's still doing more now from other tournaments, including tier 2 or 3 events, and he had to do it manually. This wasn't like an automated process. He had some tools, but essentially he had to watch the demos on like high speed to find out where it had been abused, and then he worked with ESL because he was formerly an ESL admin who's now a freelance admin. By the way, one of the best, well respected by every player, never heard anything bad about this guy. So if you are running a tournament and you want it to be seriously, incredibly adminned and refereed by someone who's got the chops and the clout to actually do it properly, make sure you hire this guy. He is available for freelance work. So that's how he has spent his spare time. What a fucking legend. Anyway, let's just start with the big names that come out of this. Hunden, this is especially a fucking nightmare because, like as I said, Heroic just won ESL 1 Cologne. They just turned a corner. Hunden goes into coaching after leaving the Mad Lions project, hooks up with Cadian. People are like, nah, this shit again, you know, is Cadian really going to do it? And they go and win a significant tournament. Yes, it's online. Yes, it's the online era. But at the end of the day, that is still a big win, and it's the biggest win in Heroic's sort of career to date. Unfortunately, it's all moot now, because even though they didn't abuse the bug at ESL 1 Cologne, this story just overshadows it, because the question becomes, well, what other shenanigans are they doing immediately? Like when you're outed as being a cheater, it's very hard to trust you after that point, for obvious reasons. And in an era where everything is online, it's especially bad to get caught cheating, because we're all a little bit skeptical about online results. We're all a little bit skeptical when things don't go the way that they're supposed to, when the odds aren't met. So this really, really bad. Now, as I said, he's been banned for a year from ESL competitions, maybe even more to come. Heroic have announced that they're going to suspend him pending their own investigation. Now, I don't know what the investigation would have entailed. But fair play to Hunden. As you guys know, I've known him many, many years. I was as surprised as anybody to see him named in having done this. I guess the pressure, and I won't speculate to know his mind, but the pressure of being a new coach and really wanting to hit the ground running after having such a bad time over at Mad Lions and a bad time in his personal life, had a difficult time. I think he just sort of fell into the dark side a little bit when he abused it. Now, to his credit, he did put his hands up and say, yep, abso-fucking-lutely. My understanding from talking to people behind the scenes is he even sort of went to the admins and went, yeah, it's a fair cop, like, you know, and sort of even back-channeled to sort of give his side of events and give a little bit more insight into how the bug is abusable. But this is his statement here. He says, the recent allegations made against me are true. I take full responsibility for my actions during the DreamHack Masters tournaments and the Home Sweet Home Cup 5. So he abused it in other non-MTG tournaments as well. CSGO at the top level is super competitive, and I saw an edge which I knew was wrong, but I took it and used the bug in game. I acted on my own without the knowledge of my teammates. I felt remorse for my decision, and I still do, but realized that I could never take back my actions. Thereby, I decided to contact Michał Slowinski, the ESL admin, to explain the bug that was part of the game at the time. I knew it would have professional and personal ramifications for me. So just contrast this type of behavior when we get to MIBR, by the way. Let's just do a little compare and contrast about when people go, well, why is everybody being so mean to MIBR? Yeah, there's this thing called integrity. Even when you get caught doing something bad, you can still do the right thing. It's never too late to sort of turn it round and have a redemptive element to the story. You take your punishment like a man, and you get on with life, and you vow not to fuck up again. I think that's kind of a code we can all agree to live by. Not everyone likes that code, as we'll come to in a moment. But anyway, I am sorry for letting down Heroic, my family, and all of our fans. I only want the best for the Counterstrike community, and my actions during these two games are something that are not part of the community I want and love. I accept my punishment, but have hope you will welcome me back to the stage one day. My sincerest apologies. Hunden, now again, yeah, it's a great apology. I mean, fuck you, you still cheated. What you have to understand is when you do things like this, you're not just giving yourself an advantage. You are robbing someone else of their hard work, their time, and their potential dreams. You rewrite history in such an egregious fashion that it is not unforgivable. That's too melodramatic. But if I was the players and teammates that you cheated against and potentially denied winning a game, winning a tournament, qualifying for a big event, absolutely fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no getting away from that. Like all those, you know, people who use performance-enhancing drugs in MMA and then smash someone's lights out, you know, just when they're on the come-up. There can't really be any excuses or any kind of, well, you know, I probably would have done the same. You know, there's none of that. Like, it's just wrong what you did. And the affected teams have every right to be pissed off. I think it's also good of Hunden that he's absolutely clarified, because as I said, there was speculation about did the players know, didn't they? He absolutely clarified, no, this was all me, and he's carried the can for 12 months, maybe beyond. Watch this space. The other guy you probably don't know too much about, Meccano Gun, Zona, I mean, you know, whatever. Hard Legion had a very good run in the CIS Road to Rio qualifier. They had some notable results, including a 2-0 over Na'Vi. They finished third overall in the qualifier. Now we know why. There's stuff coming out, literally, as I sat down to record this, where it turns out that they even had another coach that came in for the other coach that abused the bug in the same way. Makes that look a little bit more systemic and a little bit more suspicious about how much people knew. But as I said, I'm not going to speculate about that. Anyway, this guy has been removed from Hard Legion. He's out. You can see that the org put a statement out saying that we didn't take the side of the coach on this one. Obviously, we're deeply sorry and ashamed and all of that stuff. Pretty much what you would expect. Now, let's get to the good stuff, eh? Because obviously, there's a cheating scandal. Who could be embroiled in it? If only there was a group of players and a manager that had been sort of abusing anything they could to get an advantage over competitors while simultaneously crowing about how everyone does it to them, everyone else is cheating, and they're always the victims, and the Counter-Strike landscape is a huge conspiracy against them. Well, it's your boys MIBR. wouldn't be complete without them. I was writing an article at the time this happened. It's like art imitating life. I couldn't believe just how fucking ridiculous it was that as I'm writing an article listing their complete history of all of their fuck-ups, they make another monumental fuck-up. Some people can't help themselves. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, they're drowning, you chuck them a rope, and as they're going under the waves, they're whining about why didn't you chuck them like a life raft or something. Like, all right, guys, fair enough. You completely ruin your reputation. That's up to you. I can only do so much. I've tried to stage the intervention. You want to keep drinking yourself to death? Have at it. So, anyway, he said, no, I didn't do this. This was this bug was just something that happened, and he put out saying, you said I did it in the road to Rio. But the only clip I got sent was this clip from an MIBR Triumph game at the CS Summit, which of course was another Road to Major Rio ranking event, a regional major ranking event. So let's just have a look at the clip he put out, because this is very important.
Na partida. E repara que logo após que esse round acaba, o Dead sai do jogo, a gente pede pause. Ele só apenas nos avisou no TeamSpeak que tinha rolado bug, ele não sabia o que era. A gente avisou o adversário que o jogo dele travou e o Dead relogou. A gente falou que, ó, esperando o coach e tudo mais. Então, sim, o Dead ficou com esse bug, não sabia o que estava acontecendo no primeiro momento, não passou a informação para o time, como o proceder aí do KNG do Taco mostra, e logo na sequência, tomando conhecimento do que estava acontecendo, saiu da partida e retornou. Isso já aconteceu em outras oportunidades, já aconteceu em outros jogos. E o Dead sempre saiu, sempre avisou antes de deixar o round rolar. Isso não é uma coisa que nós teríamos feito, isso não é da nossa idoneidade. Então, essas coisas que estão falando não fazem sentido.
So, for those who don't speak Portuguese, and I'm told I can't even understand translations of Portuguese. Something wrong with my brain, evidently. But basically what he's saying there is he gives his own commentary about what happened. And he says, you know, like the bug occurred. As soon as we realized what had happened, we said in the chat that there was some issue, and they show footage of it. So right now, a lot of people were going, oh, it must be a mistake. It must be a mistake. There's no way. It was only one round. You know, how much does ESL really know? Could they, you know, and all the victim complex stuff started coming out again. But then the flying DJ, who you'll know, Ulrich Schulte from ESL, came out and said, in these tweets last night, Dead references a clip from a different match in a non-ESL event, because it was the MIBR Triumph game from CS Summit, which also was discovered, but not within our jurisdiction. The tournament organizer has been notified. The ban we issued was based on an ESL 1 Road to Rio match, where a clip exists too. So, immediately, you're like, all right, well, it all looks a bit strange. Now, what's happened here is, I don't know if they did incorrectly send the clip, because obviously Michał has been going through thousands of demos, and maybe they did send the wrong clip to Dead, leading to some confusion. But what Dead actually did was, the clip he showed was selectively and deceptively edited to make it look like he didn't do anything wrong. He only showed a limited amount of it to make it look like he was innocent. Why? Because he's a liar. He's a serial liar at this point, and it makes you wonder whether or not they should revise the punishment based on how he tried to pull the wool over the eyes of the community. Here is the full clip, right? This was from Ryan at Rush B Media. I don't know the ins and outs of how they did it, but they actually went through and found the clip that ESL were referring to. ESL didn't make any of the clips public, I think, for sort of privacy reasons. But let's have a look. In fact, I'll go full screen for this, and I'll take myself off. Just watch the perspective of Dead here. You will get some sound. It's all sped up. It's just the warm-up here. We'll skip past the warm-up if we can, because it's doing all the Benny Hill. So we get to the match start. So here we are. This is the pistol round. And you can see this is the official pistol round in that game being played through at the moment. People dying. Triumph, it's in a 3v3. Now they're in a 2v3 for low HP. Triumph, you can see they're about to come into shot now. And look, oh, what's that, Dead? Your camera works. Oh, wait, you can look at where people are coming from. That's crazy. All right, so here we go. he watches where the plant is. He knows where the plant is. You can see there's a kill there on Fur, low HP. KNG instantly gets Grim. Now, just watch. They know, like, don't get me wrong. I understand from where it's planted. You would probably want to gravitate towards this anyway. But they are in absolutely no doubt where he is. They're going to quickly peek, get the kill. There you go. It's the trade and it's the defuse. Now, he didn't show any of that, did he? He didn't show any of that. And then look at this. They actually type in the chat. Dead join to spectators. Wait, coach. Dead CSGO froze. Sorry. Have fun. So, it didn't fucking freeze. It didn't freeze. You abused the fucking bug. You abused the bug. It's there. So why are you publicly pretending that you didn't do it? It's absolutely outrageous. And then on top of that, just for additional banter, just to make this a Bantosaurus Rex, they found the clip of him doing it again, or this time in the Road to Rio qualifier, and there's no need to go full screen on this one. It's not as important. Once again, he's doing it in a pistol round. But the team he's doing it against is Yeah Gaming. And Yeah Gaming is significant because he owns 25% of that team, and his wife is the manager of that team. So make that what you will. Either that makes it worse, or because it shows like you'll cheat against anyone, or it makes it worse because he thought he was going to be insulated from consequences, because why would a team he had an interest in, a controlling interest in, rat him out, essentially? Absolutely ridiculous. So, once again, MIBR staff lying to the public, thinking you're fools, and trying to get away with doing something egregious. For me, absolutely, you need to revise this 6-month ban on this particular instance, because the deception is another violation of trust in and of itself. Hilariously, though, just for some karmic stuff, the fact he put that tweet out and then deceptively edited the CS Summit thing means that the CS Summit have had a specific look at that game and that tournament, and you can see this is L Deep. Beyond the Summit was informed about this decision shortly before the public announcement today. We are currently investigating the allegations that this bug was exploited at the CS Summit 6 online regional major ranking event. So they might now come and issue their own bans, and that's before we get into the world of ESIC, because Dead tried to be clever, tried to lie to people, and tried to get away with what he did. So yeah, madness all round, a crazy story. I do want to say mad props again to the admin that took his own personal time to look into this. Great swift resolution from ESL. Well done to the coaches that at least had the sack to own up to what they did. You're still a piece of shit for cheating, but, you know, come do your time, come back. You might find it hard to get another job, but I guess we'll just wait and see how it pans out. But the sheer audacity to lie about it, knowing these clips exist, knowing what you did, knowing it's recorded, essentially, just shows how divorced from reality the MIBR guys are. And, yeah, very hard to have sympathy. I hope there's another severe penalty coming for the lies in the public domain. Anyway, there you go. That's everything you need to know. That's the big drama, in case you're wondering what everyone's been talking about on Reddit. Follow me and all that shit on the screen right now. Appreciate you dropping by. Throw in a like, throw in a comment for the algorithm. Make sure you're subscribed. We've had a big slew of people being unsubscribed from the channel again. As always, thanks for the support. Love to you all, and I'll see you on the next video.